According to the NYPD, around 3 o'clock Saturday, a 10-year-old boy was involved in some sort of altercation down in 137th Street City College Station on the northbound 1 train.
In the world of drill rap, where the lyrics can be as sharp as a knife and the beats as intense as the streets they echo, we find a tragic tale that tells the raw truth of this subgenre. This is the story of Notti Osama, a 14-year-old aspiring drill rapper whose life was cut short in a violent altercation on July 9, 2022. But beyond the tragedy, this story delves into the heart of drill rap culture, its complexities, and its impact on young lives. Notti Osama, whose real name was Ethan Reyes, was born on January 27, 2008 in the heart of Harlem, New York. He was the youngest of 6 siblings in a tight-knit family with a deep love for music. As he grew up in the bustling streets of Harlem, he quickly developed a passion for rap. It was in Harlem that the seeds of Notti's musical journey were planted. He and his older brother, Deadl Osama, were inseparable. Despite their 1-year age difference, they did everything together, especially when pursuing their shared dream of making it big in the music industry. But Kern supposed to be a bro. Harlem in the early 21st century was not an easy place to grow up, particularly for young minds like Notti and Deedee. The neighborhood was marred by poverty, crime, and gang violence. Notti found himself drawn into a life that revolved around the streets, often indulging in activities that veered far from the path of a normal childhood. One fateful day, Notti became associated with a gang known as OY, rumored to have been founded by a man named Country Kane, a figure with ties to the drug trade. In Harlem's turmoil, where gang-related murders were alarmingly common, Notti's life took a dangerous turn. The consequences of this lifestyle became all too real amidst the chaos of the streets. Music became a lifeline for Notti and his 2 brothers, DD and J-Star. They began experimenting with rap in a homemade studio in their grandmother's house. While J-Star was the first to release music in 2020, Notti closely observed his older brother's journey and was inspired to follow suit. Around the same time, 2 other rappers, E.Baby and Sugar Hill Dot, were making waves in the music scene. E.Baby in particular served as an unwitting mentor to Notti and DD. Despite his rising popularity, E.Dot gave Notti an opportunity by featuring him in some of his music videos. This experience ignited Notti's determination to take his music career seriously. Notti's rap style was ahead of his years, bearing all the aggressive hallmarks of drill rap. His lyrics were bold and unapologetic, often filled with threats aimed at his rivals or taunts directed at his dead ops, a common term in the subgenre referring to opposition. In one of his songs, What You Wanna Do, Notti aimed at a rapper named K-Flop, unafraid to challenge even those who were on the rise. Another track, Dead Ops, continued to fuel the flames of rivalry as Notti and DD engaged in lyrical battles, targeting groups like 41, due to their association with a former OY member accused of betrayal. The fateful day, July 9, 2022, marked the tragic turning point in Notti's life. Notti and DD were in Harlem on that fateful day, making decisions that would change their lives forever. While DD urged Notti not to return to the block, Notti's determination led him back into the heart of Harlem. As the clock struck 3 p.m., Notti found himself walking with 2 friends through the familiar streets of Hamilton Heights, right up to the 137th Street City College subway station. There, they crossed paths with Kelvin Martinez, year-old rapper known as K-Dot, and more importantly an associate of a rival gang. Undeterred by the tension, Notti grabbed a broom handle and followed Kelvin into the subway station. The confrontation escalated quickly, with Notti hitting Kelvin. In response, Kelvin swung a knife, striking Notti in the abdomen. Chaos ensued as Notti's friends joined the fray, leading to wounds inflicted on Kelvin. Notti, weakened and in pain, collapsed on the subway platform while Kelvin managed to pull himself from the tracks and flee the scene. It was a horrifying moment captured by surveillance cameras that would change everything. Notti was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital fighting for his life with wounds that had taken a heavy toll. The authorities attempted to contact his family, but no one was home to receive the dreadful news.
The Manhattan DA's office has now identified year-old Kelvin Martinez as the person suspected of Reyes and say the 2 are part of rival gangs. Investigators say Martinez was cornered by Reyes and a friend, and they started beating him with a broomstick. Police say it was at that point that Martinez hit Reyes in the stomach.
Footage from the crime scene surveillance cameras played a pivotal role, identifying Kelvin Martinez as the assailant. A broomstick and a knife were recovered as crucial pieces of evidence. Kelvin faced serious charges initially, accused of second-degree murder. However, a closer look at the surveillance footage and witness statements revealed a different story. It appeared that Notti had threatened Kelvin with the broomstick, provoking Kelvin's reaction. In October 2022, all charges against Kelvin were dropped, as the evidence suggested that he had acted in self-defense. Notti Osama's untimely death sent shockwaves through Harlem and the music community. His family, friends, and fans grieved the loss of a young talent whose life had been cut short. Notti Osama, who was the closest to Notti, struggled to come to terms with his brother's death. In a heartfelt tribute, he released a song titled Letter to Notti, pouring out his grief and pain. But beyond the mourning, questions lingered. Was drill music to blame for Notti's tragic end, or should we delve deeper into the root causes, gang culture and instability he witnessed as a child? There's no easy answer, but Notti's death was a stark reminder of the urgent need to address the cycle of violence that claimed so many young lives.
Promoting public safety for children and teens.
And so being here today and hearing about the stabbing really highlights why we need the lights on in schools like this.
Notti's family and friends, devastated by his loss, joined together to advocate for an end to the violence that claimed his life. They also launched the Notti Osama Foundation, dedicated to educating and empowering young people to make positive choices in their lives. In the wake of Notti's death, a TikTok dance challenge emerged, mocking the subway station stabbing. It was an ironic twist for a rapper known for dissing his dead ops. This underscored the complex relationship between drill rap and reality, raising questions about the messages the genre sends to young minds. Drill rap, with its dark lyrics and themes of violence, has sparked a contentious debate. Some argue that it glorifies violence and contributes to real-world conflicts, while others see it as a raw reflection of life in the inner city. It's a multifaceted issue with no easy resolution, but one thing is sure: drill rap holds immense sway over the youth. Notti's death, as tragic as it was, served as a wake-up call for Harlem and the entire drill rap scene. It raised profound questions about the genre's influence on young minds and its relationship with real-world violence. While some argue that drill rap merely reflects the harsh realities of inner-city life, others maintain that it plays a role in perpetuating the cycle of violence. The debate over the impact of drill rap is complex, and there are no easy answers. The genre undoubtedly provides a voice for those who feel unheard, but its glorification of violence has consequences. It normalizes aggression, making it seem like a way of life rather than a dire issue that needs address. It's essential to recognize that drill rap is not the only genre of music that has faced scrutiny for its association with violence. Any form of music that glorifies violence can potentially be harmful, especially to impressionable minds. The responsibility lies with the artist and society as a whole. Music is often a reflection of the environments from which it emerges. In many cases, gang leaders and criminals become unlikely mentors to young kids. Rather than solely blaming the genre, you should address the root causes that lead to this cycle of violence. Deadl Osama, Notti's older brother, bears the weight of profound regret. In a heartfelt message on a TikTok channel, What NYC Sounds Like, he expressed the guilt of not being with his brother when tragedy struck.
Like, that's why I was sad, like, bro, still thinking, like, what if I stayed? Like, if I just stayed with him more time.
What if I stayed, he mused. If I just stayed with him more time, he would be here today. Notti's death cast a shadow over Dede's music career. The loss of his younger brother was a heavy blow, and it left him questioning his own future in music. Despite the darkness that threatened to engulf him, Dede pushed forward, knowing that it was what his brother would have wanted. How can we prevent more young lives from being claimed by the cycle of violence? It's a challenge that requires a multifaceted approach. While we must hold artists accountable for their messages, we must also address the underlying societal issues: poverty, lack of opportunity, and the allure of gang culture. Notti's family and friends, devastated by their loss, are taking a stand against the violence that took him away. They call for support, not just for their cause but for other young people who find themselves on the brink of becoming victims or perpetrators of violence. Notti Osama's story is a cautionary tale that goes far beyond the headlines. It is a stark reminder that even the most minor acts of violence can have profound consequences, especially for young lives ensnared by the cycle of violence. While we mourn Notti's loss, we must look to the future. The Notti Osama Foundation is a testament to the power of love and hope. It symbolizes a community's resilience that refuses to be defined solely by tragedy. Instead, they choose to channel their grief into a force for change. Notti Osama's death calls upon us to reassess our roles in addressing the root causes of violence in our communities. It challenges us to provide alternatives to the allure of street life, to offer mentorship, education, and opportunities for our youth. It's easy to point fingers at a genre of music or assign blame to external factors, but it's far more challenging to look inward and confront the societal issues that contribute to violence. If we truly want to prevent more young lives from being lost, we must take a comprehensive approach. Notti Osama's story serves as a stark reminder that we all bear a collective responsibility to address the root causes of youth violence. It's not enough to blame a music genre or single out individuals. Instead, we must work together to create a society where young lives are valued, protected, and given the opportunity to thrive. As we contemplate Notti's untimely death, let us also contemplate the changes we can make in our communities. Each of us has a role to play in creating a safer, more inclusive environment for our youth. By uniting our efforts, we can prevent more young lives from being lost to the cycle of violence. Communities themselves must actively engage in the fight against youth violence. This entails creating safe spaces where young people can gather, learn, and express themselves. Community centers, youth clubs, and art programs can serve as beacons of positivity, drawing in youth and providing them with constructive activities. Local leaders, Parents and concerned citizens should collaborate to establish and support such initiatives. By investing in community building, we can create environments where violence becomes the exception rather than the rule. Music is a potent force that can shape minds, inspire change, and heal wounds. We, the listeners, the creators, and the communities, must harness this power for good. Music has the potential to unite, to uplift, and to drive positive change. Notti Osama's story reminds us that we must appreciate the music and the lives behind the lyrics. We must remember that every artist has a story to tell, no matter their genre. It is our responsibility to listen, to understand, and to act. Ultimately, Notti Osama's death is a tragedy that should not be in vain. It should serve as a catalyst for change, a turning point in the fight against violence, and a reminder of our power to make a difference.